units, barns, houses, sheds, lofts.
So how big is someone's house? Like, they use the whole house or just like the basement?
I've been into a house where literally every room has been filled with cannabis. Wow. Literally, the guy was sleeping in the hallway. You never know what you're going to face on the other side of a door as well, that's the thing. It could be anybody wielding a knife or machete, anything.
This concrete shed is at the back of a suburban garden. There we go, we found some plants. Feels like a sauna in here. Even our camera's steamed up.
So it's only got 5 plant pots, and they're about 5 or 6 deep, so 25, 30 plants maybe here?
Yeah, potentially.
So roughly, what would you say the street value of say, these plants would be?
I wouldn't like to hazard a guess, but an awful lot.
So wholesale, like the 500 to 1,000, you've got like 15 to 30,000.
And then street value would probably be about double that.
Double that, so about possibly 50 grand, let's say, £50,000 roughly.
Yeah.
50 grand worth of cannabis is now the official property of Avon and Somerset Police.
It's an exciting part of your job, though.
It's exciting, but you end up just smelling of cannabis for weeks after.
Yeah.
Literally, you have about 2 or 3 showers and you still stink of it. You've got to chuck your clothes away, so you end up wearing really old clothes, because it's proper messy.
Sergeant Bain calls me over into the house. He's discovered another grow going on inside. There's a further 25 plants in the utility room.
He's probably growing it to sell it as opposed to growing it for his personal use, because that's the next stage.
So he's churning them out.
He's got a continual cycle of.
Behind us as well, we've got these are little cuttings, little baby ones ready to go there.
They'll probably replace the ones out in the back shed in 2 or 3 weeks' time.
These much younger plants suggest this might be a commercial operation.
He's got a ready-to-go supply of 25 plants, so he keeps going every 3 months. He's got 25 plants.
You can't exactly say it's from personal use.
No.
So it's amazing that this just goes on in someone's house. You know, from the outside, it's just a normal house, and this whole operation inside.
It's all over the place. Until you put the cannabis seed in there, it's not illegal to have any of this.
So you can own the seed, you can own all this gear, but that's perfectly. But as soon as you put the seed in the thing,
the minute you plant it and start watering it, you're producing it.
It's a bit of a grey area.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem.
There's been some confusion when it comes to where the law stands on weed these days. Cannabis is a Class B drug, which puts it on the same level as ecstasy and speed. Caught with it and you're under 18, you can expect a reprimand if it's a small amount, and your parents might get a call. If it's your second time, you could get arrested. If you're over 18 and have no prior offences, you'll probably get a formal warning. Not to be sniffed at, because that goes on your record. Second time, you'll get a penalty notice for disorder, which also goes on the record, and an on-the-spot £80 fine. Carry on and you can go to prison for up to 5 years. And if you get caught with what the police deem a large amount, that makes you a dealer, and you can be charged with intent to supply with up to 14 years in prison. Tonight, the police are carrying out Operation Utah, targeting motorists. Vehicles linked to all kinds of criminal activity have been marked on a database.
The main thing tonight is beware the drugs markers. What we want to do, we want to stay with that vehicle throughout. We want to watch the occupants like a hawk and make sure they don't get a chance to ditch anything before we get a chance to find it.
Officers tell me offences like carrying cannabis and driving under the influence of drugs are common on operations like these.
On a day-to-day basis, if you're on your bike, how often, say in one night, how many times would you go past a car you suspect of cannabis?
Maybe 2, maybe 3 times in a shift. You're pretty fancy being on the bike because you can smell it.
The police set up a checkpoint near the city centre. An unmarked van is parked up the road. It's rigged with sophisticated cameras that record and check every number plate against the National Police database.
3,000 vehicles have gone past since we've been here. There's been drink drivers, there's been drug dealers. You just never know what's going to come past.
This driver has been pulled over, and the police have found a very small amount of cannabis resin on it.
There's 2 little pieces here, one there and one there. Okay, you happy? That's what you can go to me.
Yeah. So can you sign that there and put your name there for me?
He gets an official caution and the cannabis confiscated.
I've got a little bit of cannabis. That's it.
It was only like a little bit, wasn't it?
Yeah, the little tip that could even be a spill.
Did they give you a fine or anything?
No, it's just a warning.
Just a warning?
Yeah, that's it.
Lucky me.
A team from the Tactical Crime Unit is out on the roads. Their car's also equipped with automatic number plate recognition cameras. They pull over one car because a passenger has been seen smoking a joint.
It looks like the front seat passenger is the one who's been found with a spliff or a cannabis joint on him. So the officer is dealing with him for that.
You're ready to know insurance. OK, just unzip your jacket while I do a quick pat-down search of you, OK?
But that's not their main concern. The officers suspect the driver might be stoned.
I'm just going to look at your eyes a minute, all right? Because obviously, do you know about the effects of driving whilst under the influence of cannabis as well? No? How often do you use cannabis? All the time. How often a day? One a day, is it? Or two a day?
Maybe one when we get back from work, coffee when I go to bed.
Okay. I'm just looking at your eyes a minute, all right? Just see how they react to the light.
Police take driving under the influence of drugs as seriously as drink driving.
Yeah, they are reactive, that's fine. What I'm going to do, because of what you said, I'm going to do what we call a preliminary impairment test. All right? Okay, this is what we call the Romberg balance test. What I want you to do is stand up straight with your heels and toes together and your arms by your sides. Okay, and I want you to do heel to toe, heel to toe, heel to toe, 3, 4, 5.
With no cannabis equivalent of a breathalyzer, the police use a series of coordination tests to establish whether someone is stoned.
Heel to toe as best you can, as straight, that's it. Okay, this is what we call the one-legged test. Now I want you to lift your left hand, touch your nose, and down. If you just keep your arms by your side and just raise your foot as high as is comfortable, 6 to 8 inches is normal. That is the end of the test, and I can't see any reason why we should take you into custody. Your eyes are within the range of being okay. I know it's a bit embarrassing, but you've passed anyway. Thanks.
If he'd been found to be stoned, the consequences could have been as serious as getting caught drink driving. And no wonder. Some experts claim that smoking a joint can cause the same level of impairment on driving as drinking 4 pints of beer. Where me and my mates grew up, cannabis dealers were everywhere, just like on this estate on the outskirts of London. I'm meeting 3 lads who started selling weed here when they were just 15. I want to know what made them get into it.
What's your name?
So when I first started off, I was probably making like £20 a day.
Yeah.
And it's like, once you build the customers and people start calling you, but like, before I knew it, I was like, I was on £100 here, £200 there. The guy that I was selling it for, he come to me driving, new cars, and I know he was making loads of money off of it,
Yeah.
Probably because I know he had loads of guys selling it for him. So if I'm giving him, a part like £100 a day out of what I made, and you've got 10 people selling it for him,
yeah,
that's like £1,000 a day.
I smoke it all, you know what I'm saying? Sell some of it, smoke it all, hardly make enough money, and everyone else was making money, but I just smoked it all, so I wasn't earning that much weekly.
Yeah, so you were no good at dealing then.
Not even, I smoked it all, man.
You can earn more than you earn in a 9 to 5 working a week in a day when you're smoking weed and selling it kind of thing, innit?
No one can't.
These guys seem quite laid back about their past. But there must have been a more sinister side to all of this.
I know I got stabbed over it. You get into all kind of things.
So you've been stabbed?
Yeah, I've been stabbed twice in the leg. I got stabbed twice in the leg because of the whole gang, and it's a dangerous game, man.
Some people say that weed can't be addictive, you know that. So, especially what you feel when you're addicted, like.
The funny thing is, some people could say that we don't get you addicted, but they don't know that they're addicted. They just think that I'm in control. But someone said it's once you try and stop, you realise you are addicted.
When they started to see the downside of smoking weed, they decided to quit using and dealing and clean up their lives.
I never got to that stage where I was like banging my head on the wall and biting the curb and stuff like that. I never got to that stage. But I've seen people like that for real. I've definitely seen people smoke weed and they become crazy. It's like you can't even talk to them. They're mad in the head.
I know guys that used to be good kids, good guys, and when they start smoking now they're paranoid, they're mad. You talk to them, they're quick-tempered.
These are the first cannabis users I've met who aren't singing its praises. There's clearly a much darker side to using cannabis I've yet to see. I've come to Dartford in Kent to meet a lad called Kian. He started smoking cannabis when he was just 11, and now at 14 says he has a problem with it.
Kian? Hello, mate. I'm James. How you doing?
His mum and dad have told me he's quite shy and withdrawn. He spends most of his time on his own in his room.
How's it going, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine, yeah.
Well, how much you smoking?
Well, I'm smoking like most days. Not really. It's not really a particular amount. I just smoke most days.
Well, like a couple of joints and that.
Yeah, a couple a day. Yeah.
Well, how old were you when you started smoking?
First tried it. I think I was 11 when I first tried it in one of my mates' shed, and then now I've sort of got a bit attached to it since like last year, and since then I've been like quite on it. So it's not really good. At first it's like just fun, get stoned, laugh at just anything really. But then after a while you realise the effects from it, and it's like does mess you up quite a bit. I've only been smoking it enough for it to affect me for about a year, and I've felt full effects from it.
Do you mind telling me what those effects are though?
Just paranoia really, and you just, I'm not sure. Like, I'd be, just say if I'm walking home on my own, I'd be paranoid, I'd be looking at cars and I'd think there'd be someone in there, and I'd be like, and just different things like that. Sometimes you can feel depressed, like out of nowhere you'd be sitting there all fine. Like today actually, I was all fine earlier, and then I just started feeling all depressed randomly. People think like weed, no, it's just a laugh, but it's not. Yeah, it can be really serious. It does really mess you up.
There are people out there that it's like they reckon it's not addictive. It's like a really easy drug just to put down.
No.
What would you say? What would you say to them people though?
It's definitely addictive. I don't know how anyone can say it's not addictive. It's extremely addictive. Or I wouldn't be smoking it anymore.
Downstairs, it's time for dinner.
Where shall I sit?
Anywhere you like.
Sit next to you, maybe?
Is Kian not coming down for dinner now?
I think so. No, I said you come down for dinner. That's why I'm not hungry.
I discovered that Kian's mum, Sarah, also used cannabis as a kid.
So when you were growing up, Sarah, how old were you when you started smoking?
I was 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I started smoking quite young, but I'm so glad that I don't smoke anymore, like I say, because it was making me paranoid in the end.
Has it been tough, you know, being an ex-cannabis smoker yourself and now seeing, you know, your kids going through, you know, cannabis use and experiences? Has that been quite tough?
It has been, knowing when Kim comes to me and says, oh, I really want to give up, you know, I'm really trying, and he says, right, I'm going to give up today. And then you know he's coming and he's sort of stoned and stuff like that, and you think, oh, poor thing.
Right, Kian, you ready?
Kian's not hiding in his room for the rest of the weekend. Friday night for him means he's going to a party with his mates.
Hello. I'm in the car, like, on my way down, mate. Alright, cool, mate. I'll be there in about 10 minutes.
How often do you go out like this, every weekend?
Yeah, most Fridays and most Saturdays I go out, like, out.
His dad, Chris, seems resigned to the fact that Kian will probably end up getting stoned tonight.
Nice to meet you, Kian. Cheers, mate. Really nice talking to you. Right, see you later. All the best, mate. See you later.
On the way back, I asked Chris how he thinks Kian has changed since he's been using weed.
When he was starting secondary school, he had tremendous potential. He's very clued up, very quick with things. He's lost that quickness now, you know, because of the cannabis. And I just think they could have done so much better at school, but I just think it's been robbed, really.
But Kian is not alone. More and more young people are suffering from serious cannabis problems. Last year, almost 4,000 people his age were offered help to get them off the drug. The police are making every effort to stop cannabis reaching the streets in the first place by busting the big-time growers. Officers from Operation Viscount have been tipped off by the electricity board. They've detected an unusual increase in electricity use coming from a small industrial unit near Bridgewater in Somerset.
The information that we've had is reliable. It's been checked out as far as it can be, and we're quite confident that we're going to find something there.
The landlord also alerted the police after finding suspicious alterations to the building.
Clearly with this door it's secured from the inside. If you have a look just in the edges there, you can see there's some insulation, which you wouldn't really expect to find in a courier's premises. Keep forensics in mind, please, gentlemen. Oh, nice.
Yes. Cultivate.